365 Sports is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/365 and get on your way to being your best self. What are some things you want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? Were you already crushing it? Think opposite of New Year, New You. Around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing right. Maybe you finally organized one part of your space and you want to tackle another, or maybe you're taking your supplements every morning and now you want to actually eat breakfast too. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. BetterHelp.com is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/365 today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/365.
Spark your creativity with The Sims. Sometimes you might feel like you're not creative, and you have to go in search of your creative spark again. Maybe this is catching up with creative friends, experimenting with a new look, or trying out a new recipe. And thanks to The Sims, inspiration is just one game and one spark away. Ready to spark something? Download The Sims 4 and play for free.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows, but also bonus episodes each month. But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
Because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is your Bloody Happy Hour Quickie edition. Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the show. Here we go. What are we doing? We do, what's in the news? Maybe some updates on some cases.
Yeah, and there's some updates today. So we're going to jump right into it. Happy 2024. Happy New Year. And for your New Year's. For your new year.
Oh, yes. Get it right, April. We're supposed to go right into it?
When else would we? In the middle of her story?
I have no idea.
I didn't read his message, what he said.
Oh.
He said in the first 15 minutes. And this is only going to be a...
Yeah, let's do the beginning.
Episode.
Oh, we can just do the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, you want to start over?
Hey, y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is your Bloody Happy Hour Quickie edition. It's Turn Up Tuesday. Caroline, what do we do on Tuesdays?
Oh, we just go over what's in the news, what's any updates on cases, and just what is happening. What is
In the know. You need to be in the know. We're going to tell you all about it.
In the know, in the news. We keep up with everything. Sometimes we have some Hollywood stuff as well as true crime stuff. So we're going to get into it. But first, Bloody Happy Hour is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/bloodyhappyhour and get on your way to your best self in 2024.
I mean, you want to crush it, right? So what better thing to do than to go get a little therapy? So if you're thinking of starting therapy, you got to give BetterHelp a try. It's completely online, designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule. And you just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. I mean, sounds like a win to me.
Another win is that if you visit betterhelp.com/bloody, you get 10% off your first month of therapy. So that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bloody.
Go get you some better help.
Get some therapy. Get you some help. Get you some help. Okay. Are you ready for some news?
I am. I always am. And I'm even more ready today.
So, first one is, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We knew that Oscar Pistorious was getting out.
Yes.
He was officially released
on
January 5th about 8:30 in the morning. He only served about 7 years. Now, we did that story in our Killer Athlete Month. You may remember him as little Tink from Katt Williams' stand-up comedy. But he is the Olympian that had no legs, ended up killing his girlfriend. So he was convicted of culpable homicide, which in South Africa was like our manslaughter. And he got about 15 years. He only did 7 years of the sentence because in South Africa, you only have to serve half of your sentence. So he is actually out, and he's going to be staying in that area in which he was from and committed the murder with his uncle. He is restricted and only allowed to leave his home like at certain times. He cannot consume alcohol. He has to attend anger management classes and violence against women classes because those always help, right?
Yeah, they do.
He has to do community service. So you might see Tink at the local food bank.
Okay, what's Tink?
Oh, I'll play it.
Okay.
Katt Williams did a whole, like, making fun of little Tink. Well, we're going to play it. Because think about when he walks with his metal legs. He goes, Tink.
I just recently had seen Katt Williams do an interview with somebody talking
Shannon
all
Sharp.
kinds of shade about
I'm talking
Kevin
about
Hart.
it
today.
Okay. So community service, he has to meet regularly with his parole officers, and he will have unannounced visits. He cannot, this I thought was weird, he cannot speak to the media at all, like about his crime, what he did. So he can't do a tell-all, he can't do an interview, he can't do a book until after his parole is done in 2029. So like Gypsy Rose right now is getting all the attention because she's out, and if she wanted to, she's done. I think her family has done some interviews, but she could write her book. She could do whatever. She could make money off of her story.
Putting on a show and picking her up.
Husband? Is it her husband, or do we think
Mom
faked her death?
It does look. They look very similar.
Had a
it looks like
sex change.
Yes, it's a transitional whatever situation. Yeah, because they look. Yeah, okay, we'll get there.
Anyway, so he can't do anything until 2029 as far as talking about like his crime. He'll be constantly monitored, but in South Africa, they do not have the ankle bracelet. So he's being monitored, but not really. Not like we would if he was here. You got to wear a monitor. They can see your location. It lets them know when they leave the house or when they're at work. So he's out. He's out and about.
I mean,
so
yeah, he's out.
Little Tink, you're going to find him around town. Also, we talked about it last week. There has been an arrest on the Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra case. And so that was the pregnant 18-year-old near San Antonio and her baby daddy. They went missing they were reported missing on the 22nd, December 22nd. She was supposed to be induced that very next day. On the 26th, right after we told you this story, they were found dead in the car. No, we knew that they were found dead in the car with gunshot wounds to the back of the ear. And then video footage was released a couple days after that, and it showed someone driving their Kia Optima, but you also saw a truck pulling up to the Kia, and this big old male, big fat male walked out.
Every fat guy in San Antonio was guilty at that point.
And I feel like he had a wife beater on.
Oh,
like his
yeah.
stomach
And
was
then there
just
was
hanging out.
rumors like whether it was a fake stomach because they didn't see the belly hanging out from underneath the shirt. I mean, people were going all over the place. It was great.
He looks like somebody that wears a wife beater all the time. So their neighbors was like, oh, that's Ramon.
Yeah.
That's Ramon. He always wears the wife beater when he walks out to get the mail. Like, really quickly, the guy was recognized. What they did is they looked up the truck, saw that it was registered to this guy. This guy fit the description of the fat man in the video. What we now know is that 19-year-old Christopher Preciado has been charged with capital murder for both of the murders. And could be a pending charge about the death of baby Fabian, because baby Fabian was going to be born the next day. Like, I guess I didn't even swallow that the first time I told this story.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he was here. He was here.
Yeah.
Like, he was going to be a person literally the next day.
I mean, he was.
I mean, he was a person anyways, but,
yeah.
like, you were going to be able to, like, hold him. Like, he had a
bed
like waiting on him.
Yeah, he was to be induced.
I don't even think I stomached that the first time I heard the story. But also his dad, who was Raymond, was arrested and charged for abuse of a corpse. Now, the medical examiner determined that they were killed on December 21st. Christopher allegedly killed him in a drug deal gone bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said self-defense.
And then called his dad, and his dad came and helped him clean the crime scene and move the bodies to a different location. So that's why the dad got abuse of a corpse. Except for they moved the bodies 4 miles from their actual address. So they were trying to be smart, but they weren't really smart. In the video, you saw the dad wiping down like the outside of the vehicle with a towel, but also in that video, somebody tosses him a towel. It looks like
somebody handed him the towel from in the truck. Yes.
So we don't know. They haven't said anything about a third suspect, but they had to have been mama in that passenger seat.
Oh yeah,
tossing the towel, or in the back seat tossing.
I guess
something.
the theory, or what's come out in the affidavit, I guess, or whatever probable cause thing.
And now a word from our sponsors. .365 Sports is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/365 and get on your way to being your best self. What are some things you want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? Were you already crushing it? Think opposite of New Year, New You. Around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing right. Maybe you finally organized one part of your space and you want to tackle another, or maybe you're taking your supplements every morning and now you want to actually eat breakfast too. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. BetterHelp.com is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/365 today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/365.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+. Rated TV MALV. Viewer discretion advised. Maya Lopez has betrayed her mentor, the notorious Kingpin. Now on the run, she returns to her hometown to prepare for the biggest fight of her life. Don't miss Marvel Studios' hardest-hitting series yet. An epic 5-episode event. Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+.
Was that Matthew went up to the door to do the drug deal, and then they had a tussle with the gun, and then Christopher shot Matthew, but then they drug him to the car. That's why his drag marks. Yes, but then that doesn't make sense, because if you're having, like, he was shot, like, it was touching him, like, it was a point of contact.
Yeah.
So I don't see
You self-defense,
a self-defense tussle. Yeah, that doesn't add up. Plus, what about her? When was she killed? Was she shot? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the stories or in the affidavit and just kind of what we're hearing right now. And there's no telling if we will get the full 100% story. But I know that kid looked very empty-eyed.
I thought it was a woman at first when I first saw him.
Yeah.
Because he has, like, long hair and he looks like...
He had, like, softer features.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, cell phone data led police to the Preciado men.
Because her phone, Savannah's phone was with her, and they pinged the phone. And so the murders happened in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the car was there, and then 4 minutes later it had moved to that next location. So they're like, they had to have premeditated this.
Well, and then, like, Dad had to know this was going to happen. Like, if it happened that quick, you were ready and you were on standby.
Yeah.
Or were there.
But I'm curious. I don't know. When I first saw them, I was like, are they being set up? Or, like, what? They just didn't look like gangster, you know, like...
I know Dad has.
And then what they did say was that it was all because it was like a marijuana thing.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't put a hit on people for marijuana. I mean, like, marijuana. There's got to be some other, like.
Was it?
Or maybe
kilos
they were trying
of you know, you would kill somebody behind kilos of marijuana, but not like a dime bag or whatever you buy now.
Like, I would think it would be something more
It has to be more.
That.
Yeah. They're trying to figure out, is there really revenge behind this?
Yeah.
Anyways, when they found the address, they went and knocked on the door. The father came out, cooperated, and
wasn't he like, oh, go talk to my son or something like that? I think he was.
He was. Well, they only arrested him, from what I saw, took him down, and then told him the story, and then they had to go and get the son. Like, I don't know if they arrested them both initially. It was the dad, because that's who they saw in the video. Christopher is held on a $2 million bond. Ramon has a $600,000 bond right now. So that mama is not, like, that's a lot of money to come up with to get your family
they ain't getting out. And then, like, now there's this guy on TikTok who lives, like, catty corner from that house. And he's been doing, like, live streams just because there's, like, cars coming by just honking at the house. And it's, like, there's a car that's in the driveway, and it's spray-painted baby killer.
Oh, gosh.
All over the car. So, like, people are doing the whole Brian Laundrie thing. Like, they're just...
It is.
All over it.
It's crazy. What was the reason for killing her? Or was she the target all along. Like, you just, I don't know. They have not said whether they'll seek the death penalty yet because it hasn't been time to, like, meet with the grand jury and get all that down, like, what they're going to actually
I mean, because
go
technically, if you kill a child, that's capital murder.
Well, and they're already capital murder. Like, it's capital murder for them. And so they haven't even added the extra charge. So it's just capital murder for the two.
I thought Tiffany said that the way you get, maybe that was how you get to be eligible for a death sentence, is if a child is killed, and that's capital murder. Because remember when Caitlin Armstrong, we were asking about that. Yeah.
But he's 19 years old, so will they seek it?
I mean,
it just goes back and forth, yeah. But sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. There was another case that we did, the Kevin Davis case, and they were not going to seek the death penalty because he was 19. That was our little Corpus Christi killer. Played with his mama's brains.
Yummy.
Okay, let's go to Perry, Iowa.
Oh.
So this was on January 4th. A 17-year-old opened fire at a small town Iowa high school the first day of school after the winter break. He killed a 6th grader. He wounded 5 others, including the high school principal. So at this school, the high school and the junior high are connected. So you just go down the hall, and then that's the junior high. So that's how he got a 6th grader. 5 others. People had to, like, barricade themselves in offices. It was over pretty quick. Now, the shooter's name was Dylan, which was crazy because that was the Columbine shooter's name. Dylan and Eric was armed with a pump-action shotgun and a small caliber handgun, and that's what he used to carry out the shooting. Let's see. The principal is in critical condition. His name is Dan Marburger. And all the other victims have been stable since then. The principal has been at the school for 25 years, the same school for 25 years.
Wow.
Dylan was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, like within 30 minutes of the shooting. So really quick. There was also a homemade explosive device that they found and, like, disconnected it so that it couldn't go off. So there was no further injury from that. They were looking at a social media post right before, like that morning, right before the shooting happened. He made a post on TikTok in the bathroom of Perry High School. It said, "Now we wait," in quotations. And the song Stray Bullet was playing. It's by some German band in the background. But as they're going through his social media, they found plenty other photos of him with various guns. So the shots were reported at 7:37 a.m. and the first responders got there about 7:45 a.m. and it was stopped really quick. Like, students were exited from the high school, like, pretty quick. Like, so you have active shooter drills that you practice all the time at school. And so a lot of these schools got it down.
Yeah.
Now, they have talked to some of the high school students. They've done, like, some interviews on the high school students with their parents and said that Dylan was bullied for years, like, ridiculed and tortured for years, like, nonstop. But what pushed him over the edge is when his little sister came home recently because she was getting bullied and he was just done and had enough. Parents had gone to the principal many times about the bullying and nothing was done. So to me, it's probably why the principal was one of the victims.
Oh.
Not excusing it at all.
Right, yeah.
But the kids that were doing this interview said that he was hurting. He got tired. He got tired of the bullying. He got tired of the harassment. It was not a smart idea to shoot up the school. God, no, it wasn't, but he was tired.
Well, take a nap, bro.
I hate it.
Well, wasn't he, like, LGBT, gender fluid, and all that? That's what I heard.
I don't know. In his
So I
pictures,
just think
he
like
didn't look like that.
Yeah, but he like I guess on his TikTok he had the flag, like the pride, not the whatever one of the flags.
Why?
Well, I think that he just was that. To me, that's like your mental illness. Is that if
and why he might have been bullied.
Yeah.
This is the second shooting in 2024. There was also a shooting January 3rd in Virginia High School. Only one person was injured, and a 15-year-old was arrested with this. And this wasn't like Columbine or like this one. It was actual shooting there at high school campus, but there were two people that had met there to fight, and one of them pulled out a gun and shot another one. But they had to shut down the school. They had to do active shooter protocol because there was an active shooter at the school with the other kids around. He was just targeting like his one person. So there is that. Also, I mean, 2024 has been pretty crazy already. We already told you about Gypsy Rose, but Casey Anthony and her parents are back in the news. Were you able to watch the documentary yet?
About them doing a lie detector test? No, that's the stupidest thing I've ever. Like, why? What does this even mean? What is the point?
Okay, do you not remember? I see exactly why they did it. Casey Anthony a year ago released her "Where the Truth Lies." Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
And what did she do? Pointed fingers at her dad, at her mom for excusing and letting her dad molest her all these years, and accused her of molesting the little girl, Kaylee, and then basically said, my dad did something. Blame the dad for the killing.
Right, which is what she did during the trial. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they were already Casey Anthony's parents, but since then they have been called pedophile, like everything.
You know what? Join the list, okay? Join the freaking list of all the pedophiles.
So they wanted to clear their names, and so this person that did this is a guy formerly Secret Service that did this lie detector test, and so part of the interview documentary was them watching live Casey's documentary and the things that they're accusing of. So it was like they watch it, then they would respond to some of it, and then it ended with the lie detector test. And so like the mom did her questions were geared towards, had the husband or Casey confessed to what they did and you've been hiding it all these years? Like, did you really know? And then you haven't said anything. You've been playing dumb. And then the dad's was almost two-part. Did you know or conceal where the body was? Like, so did you know like what Casey did and you were, or did you do it? And questions about molesting her. Yeah. And both of them passed the lie detector test with flying colors.
Well, look at that. Too bad we can't trust a lie detector test.
So the Secret Service guy that did it, he was like, what I did is I got my results, but then I had a second person look at it too. And they both came up with the same conclusion, is that they were not deceptive in any of their answers. But it kind of goes through them answering the questions, and they're still both, they're just different. So it is hard. I mean, they're like Casey. They're not as bad as Casey, but like, it was still hard for me to take the dad serious, like, and feel sorry for him. But if your daughter, what she is lying and just throwing her parents under the bus just to try to make herself look better, that's heartbreaking.
I know, but like, what are they gonna, are they just getting like?
I think they were just clearing their names.
Yeah.
I think that finally
I feel like they're clear. I mean, yeah.
That police that they feel like that their names have been cleared and that hasn't really been all this time.
Well, so then I guess
'Cause you had a
nobody
bunch-
killed Kaylee Anthony. She just walked out there herself and wrapped herself up with duct tape and buried her own self in the woods because Casey didn't do it, so parents didn't do it.
No. Well, maybe it's JonBenet Ramsey's killer.
It sounds like it might be.
So they felt better afterwards, and I think this was their way of like defending themselves after
I can
Casey's
see that.
last
Yeah, I can
documentary.
see that. But when I heard they're doing a lie detector test, I was like, this is the stupidest shit I ever heard.
There's no other, but like besides them doing the same type of interview that Casey did, there's no other way to try to clear your name in front of the world.
Yeah.
That would be the only way we may even try to believe it a little bit. But they did call out Casey. They were like, it's time for Casey to take a lie detector test.
It actually is. Let's go ahead and see how that works.
Yeah, so maybe next January, Casey will
maybe we'll have it.
Damn. Okay, and then, you might have seen the word list a little bit this week.
There's been a list. What do you mean list?
Not Santa's list, not Schindler's List.
No.
No, we got an Epstein
list. We have an
list.
Epstein list. Okay. Okay. I got a lot to say about, not really a lot, but.
What I have is I emailed myself a link. Let me find it.
Well, let me just tell you about the guy.
Because I didn't give a shit about all the documents. Like all the extra wording. I wanted a damn list. Like I wanted a damn Santa's list.
Yes, but it's not what it seems.
I know.
That's why you have to have the documents.
Some of the reporters have gone through, and so names that have come up. Now, a lot of these names you'll see that have with no wrongdoing. So their names are on there because they have been there, but like no wrongdoing, they haven't been accused.
Right.
of
There's
certain things.
like employees. There's people who just were acquaintances. There's people who were actually like involved in a bad way with the island and going there. And there's the people who are the victims. But a lot of the back and forth is like emails or depositions and stuff like that.
So Prince Andrew, I'm going to go to the ones that I have and you tell me the ones that you have. Bill Clinton, it said, but I saw two things where it says Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, but no wrongdoing.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I didn't see Bill Clinton. I saw Donald Trump, but he was just mentioned in a way to where somebody was like, did you see Donald Trump here? No. Did he visit the island? No. But that's why his name was mentioned in there. And so then he comes up on the list of mentioned names.
Oh, Hillary Clinton, David Copperfield,
Stephen Hawking, who I did not know who that was. But the memes are wild.
Chris Connolly, police detective, and the investigative journalist who investigated Epstein, Leonardo DiCaprio, Al Gore.
Leonardo DiCaprio was the innocent one. He was like just a random. So was Cameron Diaz. She was
Michael Jackson.
Oh, we all know about Michael Jackson.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, we know about Kevin Spacey, even though he was acquitted.
Star Wars George Lucas. I don't know Jean-Luc Brunel. Kate Blanchett. Naomi Campbell. Bruce Willis. Cameron Diaz. There's a whole Chris Tucker, which Katt Williams outed him.
No, Kevin Hart. That's who Katt Williams was talking about on that podcast.
Oh, he talked about way more than Kevin Hart.
He did. Oh, I just saw that clip.
He outed Chris Tucker for being Chris Tucker was Smokey off Friday because they were talking about Friday, and so they were talking about, why do you think Chris Tucker didn't come back? And he was like, well, Chris Tucker is not Smokey Chris Tucker anymore. Chris Tucker is Epstein Island Chris Tucker. And that's why we don't see him much anymore. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy theorist. And just more. I was trying to look at some of the famous names.
Did you say the main person who likes the young people the most?
Michael Jackson?
Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah, I said Bill Clinton.
Okay.
I said Bill and Hillary. Yeah, and
But he was the one who was like, he's been
like
there.
him young.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like him
I like him young. He's been there over and over and over.
I saw Oprah's Winfrey name come up, but I haven't seen it on the I haven't seen it on this list.
I've seen
Saw
Ellen, Oprah. I mean, it's wild.
So this is what I think, right? So Epstein was a big person.
Okay.
And then you had this amazing resort.
But he was like some kind of, okay, this is a theory. He was like in intelligence in some way. So he was protected. But what he did was he would fly the high profile people out to his island. He had this secret room with like all the TVs because there's video cameras everywhere. They were not aware of the video cameras. So then whenever they find out, oh, everything's videotaped,
he's gone.
You can't say anything. Nobody can say. So that's how he was protected, because he had all of them doing what they were doing on video. And so they wouldn't turn on him because he had the proof.
Yeah.
And then that's why they had to kill him in prison.
So, but that was my whole thing, is like the Epstein Island was this big, amazing island that had all these resorts and night places to stay, right? So, but there was just the secret room. So all these people that were there doesn't mean that they were actually part of that secret room.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how.
That's what that's what I'm thinking. Like, just because they've been on the Epstein Island, they might have stayed at resort over here and visited the beach over here. Not everybody got invited to go do the secret things in the secret room, is what I'm asking.
I don't know if that is accurate. I don't know.
So if you're going to Epstein Island, you knew you were going to screw little kids.
I don't think all the names that came out on the list went to the island. I don't think that. I think all the names were just unredacted. So as part of like, so it was like depositions and stuff like that, to where all the names had been covered up. So even if somebody just asked a question about somebody, that name was let out and released, not meaning that they had been to the island. Maybe they just saw the person at a party or whatever, but they were asking, and there's like emails between Ghislaine and Jeffrey and all these people. It's thousands of papers, or documents. But I don't think they all went there. I think a lot of the names were mentioned just because of whatever. He's a powerful guy, and he was around, and he was at parties, and people took pictures with him. And what if you just randomly took a picture with him and then you're on the list because you just took a picture with him?
Yeah.
So I think that's why. Yeah. Somewhere on there. Don't
what do you
forget
think
Bill
Megyn
Gates.
Kelly's?
Oh yeah, Bill Gates. Oh, Megyn Kelly.
What do you think Megyn Kelly's little nugget was about?
I loved that.
So do we think that he's alive, or do we think there's just like a video of him out there that we're going to see?
There is there's either in the interrogation or in like whenever he was deposed, because there's a whole deposition of him, and there has to be something that he said. I don't think he's alive, and I'm all about conspiracies. I would love to say that.
Is she dropping that? Like they might have had to fake that death.
I know,
so that they can keep him hiding to go through all of this.
I thought about that. So my prediction is he's not alive. But I still think he was killed because the cameras didn't work and whatever. I think he was killed, but that there's videos of him talking about like exposing everything that happened. But those are being like covered up by like FBI or CIA or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the list.
Conspiracy corner.
So we'll see.
But it's actually not a conspiracy, because I mean I feel like there's just so many pedophiles. There's just so many pedophiles. It's unreal. It's very disheartening. It's just
So if you've been on social media at all,
but like
you have seen...
I would have absolutely gone to the island.
Yeah.
And I would have I'll massage you, pay me $1 million. I will absolutely massage you.
I know.
I would gladly be a victim.
I mean, so if I was famous or I just became famous and they're like, hey, we're all going to the Epstein Island. You have this amazing chef. It's a beautiful beach. I'd be like, oh, yeah, put me. Whose jet am I?
Yeah.
Oh, am I sitting by Hillary Bill?
Yeah. Just
In
because the
between.
chef going to end up in the bottom of the lake in a second, it's fine.
I would go because who wouldn't want to go to this island? So then I was like, I would go to the island, but I wouldn't be part of the secret room. Like,
You would have to if you were one of the women, if you were one of the recruits.
well,
Or
if I
you're a
was
guest.
famous,
If you're a
yeah,
guest.
if I was a guest. So
Yeah.
it's like if I hang around so and so right here and they go to parties and they do cocaine, it doesn't mean that I'm doing cocaine
Yeah.
at that party.
Right.
But
yeah.
I was at that party.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll feel guilty because I was at that party.
Yep.
But
So
that
you would be
doesn't
on the
mean I do
list.
cocaine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So,
yep.
or smoke weed or whatever.
Or
I'll be the
whatever.
one by the alcohol. So, okay, Epstein. And then last one is Katt Williams. You might have seen all over the internet that Katt Williams went to Club Shay Shay. Katt Williams is like top of the line comedian, above Dave Chappelle, above Steve Harvey, like above. He's
I
hilarious.
did not even recognize. I didn't even know. I never knew what he looked like.
Uh-huh.
So when I
But
saw
have
it-
you watched any of the stand-ups ever?
No, but
Or
I
clips?
watched that interview that he did. I watched a little bit, and I was like, this guy seems like he was just like kind of out there. But I guess that's how he is.
Yeah. Watch some of his. Watch a couple of the stand-ups. They're hilarious. But he did not go on to make friends. This is like a tell-all podcast. Like if you go on
And
Club
who
Shay
was the guy
Shay.
that it was with?
That's Shannon Sharp, like
Oh, yeah,
former
yeah,
football
yeah,
player
yeah,
Shannon
yeah,
Sharp.
Yeah.
And so people go on there and they usually tell all, and he's had everybody on there. Well, he's previously had other big name comedians like Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, the Santa off Friday. I can't even think of his name right now. And they've gone on there and obviously blurted out some lies. So Katt Williams, who is... he just ain't gonna let anybody get away with bullshit. Like, he'll just call people out, right? So he was calling them out. And so first he was talking about, like, Kevin Hart. We all know Kevin, there's nothing funny. There's not a funny bone in Kevin Hart's body. He's not funny. It's ridiculous. And so he was like, how did Kevin Hart get to be Kevin Hart overnight? He's not funny. He's never sold out, like, any audiences. He's never, you know what I mean? Like, he just wasn't... Like Steve Harvey, we knew he was a comedian way before he was Steve Harvey, right? And so his funniness got him like these comedies and stuff. But Kevin Hart just kind of blew up overnight. So he was alluding a lot of things to the Illuminati.
He
Ludacris
said
being
Kevin
in the
Hart is a
Illuminati.
plant. What does that mean, though?
He was saying that wasn't grown organically. Like, it was the gatekeepers opened up the door and, like, basically said, when you say yes to Illuminati, like, you get all these things and you get all these deals. So he was just basically saying Kevin Hart did not grow organically. It happened overnight, and he was brought in by a gatekeeper.
I'm like, so how does that work? I mean, I don't know.
He talked about it, that he was invited to Illuminati party, him and Ludacris, right? And one of them was going to get picked. Well, Ludacris ended up being the one. And his deal was you were going to get $200 million. You're going to get a new TV deal that they were going to be 20 parts to it. A new movie is going to be 20 parts. And then what did Ludacris started starring in is Fast and Furious, and they're on number 10 right now. But that's when he had to make the transition from, like, rapper Ludacris to more like actor. So it's long, but he goes, I watched every single second of it.
Are you like, oh yeah,
I'm 100% believe in the Illuminati.
Yes.
And see, what happens is, like, people like him that say no, they'll end up talking about it. Like, Ice Cube will talk about it.
Ice Cube talked about it with Tucker.
Yeah. they'll kind of out them. Kanye has like outed them, and so he talked about comedians wearing dresses, or like these famous people dressing up as women, and that allegedly
like
that's a part of your like Medea. Tyler Perry. Dressing up as Medea. Martin Lawrence was Big Mama's house.
Yeah. Before it was like a thing.
That was Illuminati's been Tupac told us about Illuminati.
Them having their roles where they're dressed up like women.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of long before like trans was like
big.
Real big.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
But part of the Illuminati deal of you can have that back. Being if you're going to be one of the ones that they pick, is you have to wear a dress. So a lot of these comedians, like Kevin Hart has put on a dress, Martin Lawrence has dressed up as a woman. Like it's just part of the. Jamie Foxx was Wanda on In Living Color.
Young Thug.
Did he wear a dress?
Yes, they showed it in
a
the
movie or like.
No, in a performance.
You have to sacrifice somebody. You have to do like all these things.
Because they showed it in the trial that he had been like, he posed wearing dress. It was so weird. But they brought it back to his childhood, saying that he was in such poverty, he had like wear his siblings' clothes and some wore dresses. But this picture
recently.
that they showed was like from 2 years ago of him wearing a dress.
He outed P. Diddy. Like which we know P. Diddy now is a pedophile, but and obviously likes to do men in the butt. And so he talked about P. Diddy offering him to give it a blowjob. So P. Diddy is one of these gatekeepers that if you're trying to be on the up and coming, and you go to one of his parties, you're gonna either get pushed in. You're gonna be a power bottom, or you're gonna give him a blowjob. But he's gonna give you $200 million, and he's gonna help you. And then you become Kevin Hart, or you become like Jamie Foxx, you become one of these
plants to where they control you.
Yeah.
I
you're
believe
part of
all
this.
of it. I
believe
believe
all
every
of it.
single bit of it.
Yeah. And then it taught more like Katt Williams, like who he was personally. He's a child prodigy at 163 IQ. He was accepted to college at 12 years old. So that's why
He's
it's
like
so hard
super
to.
smart?
He is 100% smart. And so he does come across kind of weird, like out of it. But because he is not on our level at all, like of intelligence. He's way
really
yeah.
Okay, well,
watch one of his stand-ups. The other thing, man, he's the one that because every comedian will get political, but they'll never choose a side, right? Or like he never chooses a side. That's what I love about it. Is like you can talk shit about
both.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody. So I guess when Biden first got into office, and so he was like, man, we just had, a raging, I think, like narcissist that like blurted out random things we hardly couldn't read the teleprompter or would not even let people tell him what to say. He would just like say his own words, right? So he was basically saying to only go in to this new office with Weekend at Bernie's. Remember the movie Weekend at Bernie's where he's dead?
Yes, we go from one extreme to the next.
The other. So that's what he was describing. And so at the end of the podcast, Shannon Sharp was like, so what's next? Like, what do you think's going to happen, alluding to like the election?
Yeah.
And so he put it right to me. He was like, that's like saying, are you going to go back with your ex-boyfriend or your ex before that? Like neither one of them is you don't want to choose either one of them. Like
yeah, so
like they both got the worst. They both got their own type of evil. Like it's just a no-win situation. But he was like, yeah, it's either you're going to get back together with your ex or your ex before that. So one's Biden, one's Trump. And nobody wants to go back with either of their exes. I just thought he worded it in a way that was pretty good. And then He got it. And then he was just talking about how, you know, these billionaires right now, like Elon, they're building these $75 million bunkers and building these $270
Don't even
million
get me started on the bunkers.
boats. And then this movie comes out.
The end of the damn world, produced by the Obamas.
Executive produced by the Obamas. But watching it, it was so scary because it could literally happen. Like, they just attack one of our satellites and we don't have nothing. We don't have
this is
Wi-Fi,
this is the next conspiracy is Nepophilium? I don't know what the Nepophilia or whatever.
What is it?
So then
touching your nephews?
No, all the stuff that happened in Miami. Did you see all that huge? There was like a small fight that broke out, but there was like 60 police officers that are like along the strip of Miami, and it was like this huge thing. And they were saying they spotted these like giant creatures that were like 8 feet tall, dark shadowy figures, like all this weird shit that like. But they're like, okay, none of this was caught on camera. So basically, they're saying people, the government or whoever the people are, Illuminati and people controlling us are trying to put this in our head that there is something out there that is going to take over when really it's not. They're just making it all up.
I do think that when you got billionaires, like the people who have money, they'll know. And this movie said that, like, these rich people knew what was happening before it happened. And they had this amazing bunker underground that they can go and live in until it's over with.
That's why Oprah and Bill Gates, they all have all this Hawaii property, and their property was saved, and there's tunnels everywhere.
Elon Musk is building a $270 million like a boat to just sell off somewhere that has like all the amenities.
Great.
So that when
I trust Elon Musk. I'll go with Elon.
So, but my whole point is, something's happening. Something's in the works, and they're getting ready.
This year is
so whether it's Oprah getting ready or Elon,
not a sponsor, but forpatriots.com. We'll go ahead and stock up on your end of the world living stuff. Get you some water. Get a bunker.
I can't keep groceries for a week.
I can't keep groceries for even less than a week. I mean, not even a day. I don't have any groceries now.
Man.
So I'm just going to count on some friends. Any friends out there who are preparing?
That's the whole point. Everybody will turn on everybody.
Be a bunch of preppers.
No friends. They're going to turn on everybody.
Listen, we just are living in a black hole, and I do not. This year is going to be pretty wild.
Pray
I predict.
and get baptized. That's the only thing.
And to end on a funny, interesting note, don't worry. Sarah Boone has now a new attorney who she apparently is getting along with right now, but we still won't have that trial for like at least another year.
She needs to just represent herself and give everybody a show.
This bitch. Now she's trying to say that she suffered. No, she did not suffer from alcoholic blackouts. Or I don't know. I can't.
Can't deal.
So,
okay,
anyway.
this is the longest quickie ever. You're welcome. We'll see y'all Thursday for a full episode. Go to betterhelp.com, HELP.com/bloody, and you get 10% off. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
me.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it. It's because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, you know, and those jeans don't hide anything.
Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on RogueMediaNetwork.com.
Hey, I'm Katie.
And I'm Summer. And this is Monsters in the Attic. So we thought we'd bring people on.
Yeah, it's very real. And we're fortunate to have a lot of friends who have a lot of monsters. And we can't wait to share them with you.
I love that we're so fortunate that we have so many friends with so many monsters. Where can people find us?
Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere they listen to their favorite podcast.
They can find me at my therapist's office.
As they should.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.